I put them all in different strategic places. So this one I sprayed on my knee. I put on my pajama pants another day and I was like, wow. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited today to share with you a very planned out haul. Every single perfume in here I've been obsessed with wanting to try or you've recommended to me, and they are all either Lactonic or Gourmand fragrances. So this is definitely a very specific sort of taste and I'm obsessed with most of these. I do have, I was gonna say one or two, but honestly I think there's just one I have some difficulties with. We'll get into that. Before we get into this, I want to know, what was the last perfume you bought for yourself, and or what is the perfume you want to buy for yourself? This perfume haul was full of a lot of perfumes that I've been kind of holding out on, that I've had my eye on for a long time, and that for one reason or another just kept getting bumped out of my cart. But today was their day, which was last week or the week before, something like that. And most of these are absolute gems and wins. Before we get into it too, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, that definitely helps me out. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let's start off with Yes I Am by Cacharel, and I got this because of you, Mel. I got this. And you know, I also had to join in. I know you got it and you just went for it. You asked me about it first and how it compared with So Scandale by Jean Paul Gaultier, and I looked at the notes and I was like, I need to try this too. And then you got it and I was like, okay, I need to get it. I need to get it on my next perfume haul. And so this is such a beautiful Lactonic, creamy, warm, spicy raspberry. It's definitely the milk note that, you know, like did me in, of course, but the entire composition is very alluring. I definitely get the similarities between this and So Scandale, but So Scandale is definitely a little bit more of a lighter, fruitier, brighter sort of bubblegummy tuberose. This one definitely has that deeper, warmer, spicy nuance of the ginger in it. I definitely detect that. I don't know that I have a preference yet. They are a little bit different. They are very similar, but they are not the same. I really like both of these. I'm also really happy that now I don't have to only rely on my little travel spray of So Scandale to get that same sort of bubblegummy bazooka with the very sweet Lactonic edge that I get in Yes I Am Cacharel. Yeah, I would say this one definitely has that warm spiciness with the ginger and the cardamom. I wasn't sure how I would feel about that because there's something very sort of ethereal and light about So Scandale, and the warm spicy chords in Yes I Am seemed kind of contradictory. But they marry very well. I will say, when you smell it very up close, there is a weird plasticiness to me. But honestly, I don't care because the sillage and the scent bubble are adorable and lovely, and I'm really enjoying it. Obviously, these have only been worn, you know, a few times. This one I wore, I don't think I wore this for full days, but I did wear this at least 2 or 3 times, like in the day. I don't know if I had a full wear test with this yet. I just recently got these, right? Like last week. You will see though, because there are like 2 in here. I would say I wore more than the other ones. Next up, we have another that has been in my basket for the last like nearly 1 year, on and off, and it just kept getting bumped out, and that is, and well, I got the other ones first. This is Haramain's Amber Oud Tobacco Edition, and you guys know I already have the Amber Oud Rouge and Amber Oud Gold, which are both dupes of, one for Baccarat Rouge 540 and the other one is a dupe for Sir Joff's Herba Pura. This, I don't know that this is supposed to be a dupe for anything. Maybe it probably is, actually, I guess. Yeah, it probably is. But anyway, this is a warm, very spicy tobacco, sweet vanilla tobacco. Actually, I think this is supposed to be a dupe for Tom Ford's tobacco vanille, probably, yeah. But anyway, I was really excited to get this, especially because of this cinnamon in it, and I do like a very, very sweet vanilla gourmand sort of tobacco. My main issue with this is that the cloves are very, very prominent. At initial blast, all I get is a lot of, not all I get, it's not all I get because I do get all the rest of the notes, but the cloves are very, very prominent, more than I would like, more than I care for. But when I got all of these, I wanted to spray them all right away. I put them all in different strategic places. So this one I sprayed on my knee, and I was wearing pajama pants when I sprayed it. I put my pajama pants on right away, and then I took them off, and then another day I put them back on, and I had sprayed my other knee with another one that I don't remember. So this really speaks to, and none of these are weak, so this really speaks to the power and projection and longevity of this fragrance, and I would say in general all of Haramain's fragrances. This I put on my pajama pants another day, and I was like, wow. It was such a beautiful, warm, enveloping, cozy scent. And I was like, where is that coming from? And it was so distinctive too. It had a personality. And that's when I realized, that's when I remembered that I sprayed my knee. So I went and I smelled it, and I was like, oh, it was so nice. So I really, 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 really like the dry down on this. I think this is a incredibly long lasting, strong fragrance. From my first impression, that's what I get. Again, if you are not into spices and specifically cloves, I don't think this is for you. I'm really excited to wear this in the fall. Okay, to me, a tobacco scent, there are certain scent profiles that I'm realizing I just don't gravitate towards in certain seasons, but that still deserve a spot in my collection because in specific seasons, that's all I go for. So for me, one of those is anything that's too spicy or tobacco-y is like specifically a fall scent for me. And this is one of those. I'm still going to test it out and wear it, you know, at home in the evenings at the tail end of spring. We're kind of getting into summer now. But you know, in air conditioning in the evening at home alone, I will still test this out. But this is not something I see myself wearing much in the next few months. It's definitely more of a, it's definitely more of a cold weather scent, but I'm very happy to have this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this one too. Especially if you have or have smelled Tobacco Vanille and you have thoughts about whether they are similar or any other fragrances, if it's similar to another one, because I know they do that, they get inspired by other fragrances. I think I'm going to keep my favorite one for last, or my two favorite. Yeah. Anyway, next one I got was one that was highly recommended by a lot of you, and also I knew I would want it. Like, I knew I was already interested in it. I definitely had it on my list for a long time, and I finally went for it. It stayed behind a little bit because it is a little bit more pricey for a designer fragrance, but I finally went for it, and that is La Vie est Belle Intensement. So I have La Vie est Belle Intense, which was my first choice, and that's the one I bought last year, which has the creamy whipped cream and hazelnuts in the base, which is what really won me over for that one. But this one is a slightly more modern version of La Vie est Belle, modernized, because now La Vie est Belle is 10 years old, I guess. It definitely has that sweet raspberry opening that's very pretty. It still has the same La Vie est Belle DNA in it, but it's definitely a little bit less cloying than the original. It's definitely a little bit more powdery to me. It's a little bit more tame. It's a little bit more uplifting than the original. I do like it so far. Again, like, I can't say much more than that because I've only worn it once or twice so far, you know, so, but I'm really excited to keep wearing this. As I said, this is not necessarily a summer scent, you know, but this is definitely a staple sort of gourmand scent to me, and I know I'm going to enjoy wearing this. The next scent is one that I will say this is the only fragrance in here, aside from the tobacco one, that I was not entirely sure would be a blind buy success, but I did think it was worth the blind buy risk and tell and review and try for you guys because it was such a good deal and the notes are interesting. And so this is DKNY Stories. I got this full 100ml tester bottle for like $40 Canadian. So it was a very, very good deal. And I'm not going to buy a fragrance just because it's a good deal, but if it's already like a fragrance that I'm absolutely drooling over and it's a really great deal, it's hard for me to resist. This is one of those. What sort of kind of made me not sure about it was that in the description box, it has some people who compare it to Olympia, which I love, but some people also compare it to Mugler's Womanity, which is a very polarizing scent that I do own, that I have mixed feelings about, and that is not an easy reach for me and is definitely not like a safe blind buy to me. It has kind of like a metallic sort of smell to it that I don't particularly love. I knew that if it smelled too much like that one, I might not like it, and it kind of does in the opening. It has, now I'm realizing that, you know, this is how I'm also getting to know the fact that maybe I don't love guava, you know? This has guava at the top with milk mousse, and so it does have that very milky lactonic feel to it, but the guava is a very sort of dirty, metallic, animalic sort of fruit taste to me. A little bit sour, so it's a little bit like sour with the milkiness. I don't know if I love it. I definitely think too that this is the kind of mix that can turn on people's skin, which probably explains why this has such mixed reviews too on Fragrantica. I think there's like a lot of dislikes on this fragrance as well. For me, it's the kind of fragrance I'm like, when I wear it and I spray it, I'm like, oh, okay, not bad. And I can get like, especially when the lactonic edge comes out and when the guava dies down a little bit. But when I compare it with other fragrances on my skin, I'm like, oh wait, this one smells really like metallic and kind of sour in a way that I don't love. So, you know, I still need to play around with this, but it's not a blind buy success necessarily. Still need to see, still need to experiment with it. I do want to also compare it with Womanity eventually. I still need to experiment with both of those still. So I'm not ready for that. Okay, my two favorites for last. I'm gonna start with the one that I knew I would love it. I don't need necessarily another fragrance like that in my collection, but I know it has to be good, and that is Poison Girl by Dior. And you guys already know that I love Hypnotic Poison. This is just a very, very beautiful, generic in some ways, very, very modern, youthful Gourmand. Like, this is the Dior version of those kinds of scents, like the La Vie est Belle and all of those. But this, I love every part of this fragrance. I love the opening with the bright bitter orange or like very strong citrus accord. Well, like you smell the entire fragrance when you spray it, but that citrus is just, yes, it does disappear eventually, but it's so well done, and it's just such, it's just as gourmand. That citrus bitter orange is just as gourmand to me as the sweet undercurrent in it. It's still very syrupy sweet. It has the florals in the mid, and the base is really beautiful and just complex enough for it to be very interesting to me as a gourmand fragrance. And that's what I feel with these kinds of fragrances, like the classic gourmands, like Poison Girl, like La Vie est Belle, like even like Flower Bomb, which is not necessarily gourmand, but you know, like, yes, they're very, very sweet, and yes, they are not necessarily unique anymore, but they are so well done and they are popular for a reason, I think. And this is one of those. Poison Girl, very well done. Could easily be overlooked as just another generic gourmand sweet perfume, but I think this is a very, very well done one. Again, I've only worn it a few times, but this is one of the two that I've worn the most since I bought this last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. This is absolutely going to be a staple in my collection. It's delicious, can't go wrong with it, and I look forward to getting to know her in more detail. Poison Girl by Dior. And then last but not least, another Montale. This is such a win, you guys. I love this so much. And if you are a Gourmand lover or a sweet perfume lover, this would be the first Montale I think I would suggest. And this is Montale's Sweet Flowers. This I've worn at least 2 or 3 times. I keep reaching for it. I've really been enjoying it. Yeah, this is definitely an easy reach for me in the Montale fragrance land. And so this one is compared to, some people have dismissed it as just being like another La Vie est Belle or like Montale's version of La Vie est Belle, but it is a little bit different, you guys. I do really like it. I actually think that it resembles a little bit La Vie est Belle Intensement in the opening. It could also just be because I don't have a full bottle of the regular La Vie est Belle, so maybe it resembles that one just as much, you know what I mean? There is something a little bit different in the mid and the dry down that I find not better than La Vie est Belle or any of those kinds of gourmands, but different. Like, I love it. And remember, obviously I love sweet gourmand fragrances and Lactonic fragrances, so I don't mind having different kinds or different variations of the same type of fragrance. But if you are a gourmand lover, a sweet perfume lover, sweet floral gourmand lover, I think this one is so good. Yeah, it's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit powdery. The opening has that cotton candy in it, which could see, you know, I think by this, sometimes I feel like cotton candy as a note has become so downplayed or is kind of like looked down upon in the fragrance world. It's so fun and playful in this fragrance. I really like it. I like that it's at the top too. I like that it kind of, you know, it does get a little bit more refined and more mature and less just sweet as it dries down. It has the oak moss, it has the sandalwood in the base. Beautiful, beautiful feminine base of the white musk, the sandalwood, the cedar, the vanilla. Absolutely love the mid with the blooming tuberose and jasmine. And this, I just realized, I just forgot that you're gonna hear this clinking through the whole video, aren't you? I forget that these bottles do that. But anyway, and out of all the Montale bottles too, I will say it's kind of fun to have a nice pink dégradé ombre bottle, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's cute. Not that I buy full bottles of perfumes for the bottle. I don't. I just really appreciate it though when they turn out to be really cute or pretty or distinctive, you know? So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was fun for you. I hope that I talked about some perfumes you already own and love and made you feel really good about them. I hope that if you were looking for any kind of sweet, yummy, or Lactonic or gourmand fragrances, you found 1 or 2 that sounded like it would suit you. Please let me know if you've smelled any of these, if you've tried any of them, what your thoughts are about them, all of that stuff. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Don't forget to subscribe and like before leaving. Until we see each other again, please take care of yourself, and I will see you very soon. Bye.